Yeah. That's oh shit. Hold on, guys. They can't hear us. Now they can hear us. Sorry, guys. I had you muted. It's fucked.
Jesus.
There you go.
We
Sorry,
were,
Vin.
we were all muted.
You were
Hey,
all
I'm gonna
muted.
kick it-
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna kick
Fuck you
it back
guys.
then. I'm gonna kick it back to Rob, and we're gonna pretend the last 30 seconds didn't happen.
So as I was saying, we missed the last couple of weeks because like I said before, I was a victim of COVID, Commander. Got super sick. Lost my voice and everything. I'm
Disaster.
finally starting to feel better. But you know, in more light news, Vin was actually on vacation, which is why we missed one of the 2 weeks. And that's that. You know, why don't you kick us off with that trip? Tell us how that went.
Sorry, couldn't help myself. No, it worked out. Yeah, you got sick. Sorry, dude. I know. Sucks. And I happen to be in Florida. Like I said, at Epcot, went to Disney, went to Universal Studios. As I was saying, big Harry Potter fan, all of that, big whatever, pothead. And yeah, we had a blast, man. Diagon Alley and all of that. It's fantastic. I would say anybody who I was very skeptical. Let me put it this way. I'm not a big I love roller coasters and shit, but like Disney and all that, a lot of hype. And I had never been. I went to Hollywood Studios like fucking 20 years ago, and that was it. But I would say it was worth it. It's a really great time. You could obviously see if you had children of any age, really. It's just like a very immersive experience. Disney is just on another level of quality. And you know, what would you call it? Like just really putting you in it. You really feel like you're just in something
Immersive.
special. Immersive. Thank you.
Did you
It is an immersive
pre-plan
experience.
everything that you did, or did you like go in with no plan and just kind of waited on whatever rides you wanted to go on?
Winged it for sure. So I have a dead ass serious story for you guys where my trip was almost ruined in its entirety. And I've saved this story. I don't think I told any of you guys yet. I might have told this to Chris. Yeah, I did tell this to Chris. Sorry, I saw you
did
at
tell
work.
me.
But anyway, so
It's alright. I'll get stoned while you tell it.
in the entire hype of this trip, my girlfriend's telling me about this ride, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and how fucking awesome it is. It's the newest ride in Florida, basically. It's the newest ride at Disney. It's the newest ride anywhere. And it's a roller coaster and, of course, like a whole indoor AR kind of experience. Screens and all this shit everywhere. So all this hype, you can't even get into line for this ride. You can't even just jump in a line. You have to digitally queue first, put yourself into a group, and then like 3 hours later you can go get online. That's how this works.
Oh
right?
shit!
That's pretty much how it always works at Disney. You need
I mean,
the fast pass.
couldn't tell you. I would recommend the Lightning Pass if you can get it, and I'll tell you why in a sec. But we wait in the line. It's a good hour after the whole fucking digital wait. So wait in the line. We get through the ride. Awesome. Like Terry Crews is fucking in the intro. The Guardians are there. One of the rooms kind of like disappears that you're in. It like shifts into another room as the lights go out. It's pretty you know, it was like a magic trick. It was crazy. So we're in sight of the roller coaster car, and you can guess exactly what happens. The fucking ride shuts down. We get kicked out. They come over the loudspeaker, like they like literally take you out of the immersion in a sense, because they're like, guess, like they make this announcement, and not even in like a normal way. It's like a immersive announcement. We will be transitioning from ambient audio into, you know, no audio, some shit like that. And lights come on. We're just sitting like, oh, this is fucked, huh? And we all get kicked off. It takes like 30 minutes. I'm like inside of this ride. It's ruined. The whole day. We leave. It's me, my girlfriend, and her brother, her younger 12-year-old brother. He's just, of course, destroyed. I'm even worse because they got to ride it before. And we're fucked, man. I'm telling you. So they give us free lightning passes for the remainder of the day. So we jump on a couple of other rides, which are fun. I would say they're for kids. More like there aren't a lot of roller coasters at Epcot, so we're definitely still we're trying to move on, but obviously the mood is kind of fucked. But luckily, Sam kept talking to someone on support, like through the Disney app, and I will give Disney all the credit in the world for this, because I was typing. We're like on a ride, and I'm typing my disappointment into a fucking letter that I'm sending to them.
I'm gonna write them a letter.
I'm gonna write the most, I am gonna tell you how fucking disappointed I am, and
I'm gonna CC Bob Iger.
I am also calculating in the back of my mind every minute of cost, because I'll tell you what, these are like $160 tickets per day per person. This is no fucking joke money.
Yeah, you gotta maximize.
A good portion of this time was ruined because we're digitally waiting, then we're waiting for this ride. Anyway, Sam sticks it through. We ride a few rides. This girl says her name was what was her name? Her name was Angelina? I think it was Angelina. And she tells Sam goes, "Is the ride gonna open today?" And she's like, "Yes, it will, blah, 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 we'll let you know." And then finally she says, like, "The ride will be open for the remainder of the day." And this is like the last 30 minutes of the day. And we're on the other side of the park. And she's like, "They will be honoring groups until close." And she's like, "Well, if I run over there, can we get on?" And she's like, she basically repeats herself. And we fucking haul ass. We like are running across the park. And I'll tell you, they're announcing they're going to dim the lights. There's going to be fireworks. There's going to be this huge show. They're going to dim all the lights and all this shit. So as we're running through the park, it's like 10 minutes till fireworks show. And that basically means the park's closing. And we get to the door. I like use the flash pass to get us into the ride. The guy's like, "Yep, you can get on." We get in as the first firework like detonates in the air, and we got onto the ride, and we actually got to ride the ride as the last thing we did at Epcot, and it made the trip, and it redeemed everything. It was just like,
oh yeah,
was
the ride worth it?
Earned? Was it because I was like, we worked for this. This was, and the payoff was great. It's a great ride. It was a fucking incredible roller coaster. So, I would highly recommend the whole trip there. But yeah, that was that. That was definitely the cherry on top of that trip, and yeah, good time.
So that ride was worth the hype. It was worth the wait.
It was worth the hype. I would say I love roller coasters. It's an all indoor coaster, but they have fucking screens everywhere. They have like a giant moon and a giant earth that you like circle around, and it's not even just a straight on roller coaster. The car that you're sitting in also can turn. So so you're always in the front of the coaster in a sense because of the way that they position the ride. It was insane because they twisted the whole car around like this. Everything turned, and I was on the back of the coaster, and then it did a reverse magnetic launch, and I was on like the front because I was looking that way as we got pulled this way. It was fucking nuts. It was like,
oh shit.
It was never rode a coaster like that before, and yeah, it was worth the hype.
Did you do the Haunted Mansion by any chance?
No, we were not. That is at a different park.
Yeah, that's at the Magic Kingdom. That's like right. That's at the main
Magic
park.
Kingdom, from what I hear, is definitely like for kids,
kids
yeah.
and little girls. It's not for adults. I went there.
I went in the summer of '94. That was the last time I was at Disney World. It was like I was 5 years old, and we had a really good time. But I remember that specifically being my favorite ride when we went there.
It's funny because I'm just not the biggest, like, I can't say I'm not a big Disney person, but I wasn't always like, oh, gotta go to the parks. Now I'm like, gotta go to I gotta go to Hollywood. I gotta go to Star Wars. Gotta go see this. Like, how could you not go see this immersive experience? Because based on what I saw at Epcot, it would be well worth fucking seeing in person. Walking around in a
Galaxy's Edge is really the only thing I have an interest in seeing.
Yeah,
that, and then I would like to see the Harry Potter thing at Universal, and I missed out on that because the last time I was in Orlando was for Star Wars Celebration back in 2017 or 18. I think it was 18 actually.
Oh,
And I went with my Uncle Joe, and he actually went to Universal the second day of the con. But I was like, I spent so much money on these tickets to get into this convention, I'm not leaving the con.
yeah, no
So,
way. Okay,
I stayed at the con. He went to Universal. He got to experience all Harry Potter thing. He said, there's like basically 2 parks, and you can like ride the Hogwarts Express to the other part, and that takes you to like Diagon Alley and all that shit. And,
It pissed me
that's
off.
what I really have the interest in is Diagon Alley. I'd love to do that. The wand making shit, all that stuff. I would dig that.
It's like it's pretty immersive. I would say it doesn't go full tilt. You know what I mean? You definitely still know you're in a commercialized experience, let's say, but I would just say that the design of everything, the attention to detail, the you could just tell the effort that was put into this. The only thing that really pissed me off was this. You can go to Diagon Alley, but if you want to go to the other side of the park where they have the castle, you have to pay for a 2-park pass, which is like double the price.
Oh, fuck that.
Because you have to go into Islands of Adventure instead of Universal Studios, and the train is what connects it. So
you're
you don't
telling
get
it
to
like
ride
it's a
the
scam, though, but the reality is it's like just too big
I
to... I've been there, and
would
it's
have paid to just go to that part of the park. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like,
just the Harry Potter part.
yeah, I'm the type that I would be like, hey, if this was its own thing and I could pay to just get in that way, like I'd be fine with that. To pay to have to get into both while you're under extreme time crunch because you really only have like 12 hours in the park if you get there when it opens. And
We
that's
managed to do it.
fucking exhausting. Like
We managed to do it.
I went back-to-back days. We did the 2, and I was done. The next day, I was like, if I had to do another thing I had in me, and I'd probably like get sick because I would have just exerted everything I had to walk around that park in 90-degree plus heat with a backpack on, hauling some fucking water bottles and all the bullshit we bought. Every store you walk into, you drop like $70 fucking. It was terrible, bro. I was like,
So-
It's like Legoland. I actually went to Legoland last year for my niece's birthday, and she's actually going to be going back this year. But that's upstate New York, and that's a lot of walking. And it's a lot of open sky walking. It's like we got really lucky the day we went. It was kind of overcast, so the sun wasn't beating on us the whole time. But there's a lot of shit to see.
Make no mistake, every day, 5 o'clock, it fucking rains there. Don't let the fucking forecast fool you. It rains at 5 o'clock every day. Bring a parka, because I bought $12 plastic. Not for me. I bought 2 for them. I was like, I'm just getting wet.
Depends the day, the
Sun's
time
gonna
of
be
the
out
year
in
you
like
go.
30 minutes.
Depends when you go, the time of the year.
Fucking,
Everybody's
I know.
asking you in the
First week of
comments
August.
if you got a wand. I did get a wand. I got my wand right over here. The shit's
That's
got-
cool. You did buy one from there. I didn't buy a wand from there. I looked. I found one that I liked, but when you see the price and you kind of second guess yourself, I already have one at home
It's pretty
that
penny.
literally shoots out like magic paper, like it shoots out the flaming paper.
I've
It's
seen
awesome.
those online. That shit's
So
awesome.
I was like,
Yeah,
I
but
just
these
don't
things are
need
cool,
that.
man. This is first. They're
How
replicas.
much was it? It was like $80.
It was up there, and they give you like a nice box, for it and everything.
Yeah.
And,
The Ollivander's
Primo.
box and
It's
everything.
cool
got
being
the
an
Ollivander's
Come on, if you like
experience.
that shit, yeah.
Well, that was the thing. So they like when you go to Ollivander's, they give you the whole wand experience where they pick somebody from the crowd to, pick a wand. And when we did it, they just chose some kid who was like some schmuck. He didn't even care that he was chosen. He was all nonchalant. He's in Ollivander's fucking shop. He just spent all of this money, or his parents did. I don't know. And they choose him, and I'm jealous of this kid.
10 years. Of course you are. You
Jealous.
fucking
I was no. I mean,
Kid gets
this
picked, and
no,
it's
no,
like-
it wasn't a kid. He was like 21 years old. He wasn't like fucking a child.
okay.
And yeah,
Damn.
he didn't even give a shit. I'm like,
The
this
illusion was way
motherfucker is
better.
squandering an opportunity. But it is cool. I mean, these things are
Why would he
hefty.
pick that? That's the worst person to pick. Why would they pick him? Pick a little kid. I would every time be like,
Yeah.
no, here's the little kid. Don't pick
Yeah.
me. I would not be selfish. You would take it. You would fucking be like,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Of course,
I'll-
Chris would revel in it.
If I was at a
Chris would
ballpark
brag
and there was a
about it
home
later.
run ball
I
and a
would
little
actually
kid
give it
was
to my
holding his
girlfriend.
hand
I
out to
would-
catch it, I would fucking snatch it before he could. I don't give a fuck. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Nice.
No, I mean it's only right that they would give it to that a kid, but there weren't any kids. I think in our group, I think it was a whole bunch of adults going through there. It's fucking sick, man. The Harry Potter experience at Universal is definitely unlike anything you've ever experienced. And Rob, you said the only thing you really care about is Galaxy's Edge. You don't even know what you
Yes.
don't care about. That's the thing. Like when you go there, you see and experience and eat all kinds of cool shit that like you never even thought like existed. Be
No,
like,
and
oh,
they
like
have people
banana
from-
pies or something, like
and they just have people from all those places. Like when you walk around Epcot and you go into France, you go to France and China and Japan. There are people from those countries there. I was like,
they have
what
delegates.
the fuck?
Yeah, they
Well, that's what
actually
they
have
do the drinking around the world. You go to each country and get a drink.
Yeah, I had a couple.
Right.
I definitely had a couple. It was hot. Oh my god, I was roasting. So I'm sold on it. I would say like I'd love to see the other parks. I would love to see Galaxy's Edge next. And
I'd love to see
Kingdom.
the Galaxy's Edge, and honestly, I know it sounds funny, but I would like to go in the Haunted Mansion again because I've heard
yeah.
that they've done a lot of renovations to
I don't know
it.
what you're
where
talking
it's
about
like,
the Haunted Mansion. Are you
much
talking about the Tower
more-
of Terror?
They just came out with the
no,
movie.
the Haunted Mansion. The
Literally-
Haunted Mansion is
Yeah.
a ride,
Old.
one of the most
It's original.
legendary and oldest original rides
Which
of
park?
Disney. And it's a haunted.
I think
It's
it's
literally a
Magic
haunted
Kingdom.
mansion, and you go in, and they drop
Or-
you down, and then
Oh.
there's this whole like ride that takes you through. There's like a skeleton playing an organ. There's all kinds of shit. And I remember when I was a kid, we used to have this tape off of television of they used to call it Disney's Halloween Treat, and it had this like pumpkin puppet that would announce like the show, and they would show you clips of all the spooky shit from all the Disney cartoons and movies and stuff. And that was like a ritual in my household. Every Halloween we watched Disney's Halloween Treat. And a lot of the shit that they showed was footage from that ride. So when we went and saw that stuff in person, it was just wild to me as a kid.
Can I
Now,
tell you this, Rob.
yeah, go ahead.
It literally reopened like today or something. They had it closed
Really?
for new renovations. Yeah, I was just like, let me like look at this. It is at the Magic Kingdom, and it literally like just opened.
It was
failed
closed
to
down
open,
for a
and then
long
it
time.
reopened. That's crazy.
Yeah, they replaced a lot of it with like CG screens and shit. But
The comments are good, guys.
I would
hope
like
you
to
got,
see that.
I hope
Oh,
you
I'm
got
not
the
seeing
comments
them,
up. You guys got to have the comments. See, normally we're all
I
out
got
of
the
sorts because
comments, yeah.
normally we're in person. And little Joe said that Joe over here is sitting there like he's got AIDS. Joe's so far removed from his childhood, he can't relate to the. Joe, have you ever been to Disney?
I've been to Disneyland in California when I was like maybe 5 years old, 6 years old.
Hmm.
That's it.
I mean,
I don't know how it compares. I don't know.
Smaller.
I know
It's
it's
a little
smaller,
smaller.
but I don't know if it's still like
Oh,
pretty
it's
good.
top notch. It's definitely.
I'd rather go to like Hawaii and surf than go to Disney World. It's not my
Maybe
thing.
not right now.
Well, but here's the thing, Joe. When you go to Disney, I didn't want to go to Disney. I don't give a shit about Mickey Mouse and taking pictures with fucking Goofy and fucking eating ice cream under a fucking umbrella. I don't give a fuck. I didn't want to go there, but my girlfriend convinced me. And if I was going to spend the money, I was resolved. I was like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this experience. I'm not going to bitch and be angry about the money that I'm spending, even though I wanted to fucking, stroke out from the amount of money that it cost. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this. And
Break up my party.
dude, even their resorts there it's Florida. It's beautiful. I was at this place called Riverside. It's like this like old like Louisiana like plantation or something. It's fucking beautiful. They have like a New Orleans style area. And if you want to like relax, dude, like it is a great place to relax.
Or go. I mean, I would like to see Galaxy's Edge. That would be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
But it's not
I missed that too.
on my list to spend $5,000 to go do that. It's like
and it's
not
to build a
$5,000.
lightscape. It's got to be
It's
like, at
like
least a couple hundred
That's the
bucks.
thing.
100.
I think there is a perception of course that it's very expensive, and I would say, hey, it's
how much
pricey.
it's
I mean, to get there, to stay, like what I stayed off site. I did an Airbnb, which I like. I prefer that whole. I like having somewhere to go. I would like having seen it, staying on site. You could just like not think, and that's one thing, but that's
And
gonna
it's
cost.
beautiful.
That's
Comes
gonna
at a
cost
cost.
you. That's.
Well, I
where it's
mean, but
really
I don't
gonna
know.
come in
Compared to
here.
an Airbnb, I don't know how much cheaper the Airbnbs are.
Well, you're able to split it Airbnb. I split it like 3 ways. You know what I mean? I didn't have to dish out all out of pocket for myself. It wasn't just me and her. That's different. I just had a different kind
You
of.
can get package deals with.
If it was us 5, I would be like, we're not staying. I don't think staying on site's smart.
no,
you know, I
it's
don't-
it's cheaper if you if it's actually a lot cheaper if you go with a group. You don't all go in the
Well,
same room. You get multiple rooms, but you get
But I would say all in all, it's going to cost you you know,
$2,700.
a flat $1,000 if you're splitting it up with people, and you know you go to the park and you don't think about it. If you're not, you know, pinching
1,000.
pennies, 1,000 more.
1,000 more.
It's 1,000. I'm just gonna be, you know, your flight's costing fucking at least 200-300 to get to Florida and back. Your stays, you know, you're splitting it a couple ways. It's 200-300 to get in the parks, another 150. And then you're fucking spending money. You know, I was
You're
surprised
eating.
that the food wasn't like crazy expensive. It was actually like, oh, it was $7 for this or 10 for that. I thought they were gonna gouge me like it was Yankee Stadium, but it wasn't bad. I wasn't sticker shocked at any of that. And if you're not buying like lots of gifts or lots of goodies, actually I'm gonna fucking run, and I did get you guys something. We're not gonna see each other for a while, and since we're talking about it, I'll go grab this shit so I can show you guys. But there's a lot of cool shit to buy. That's all you got to
There's
do
a lot of cool shit.
is
to
really
buy,
tell
yeah.
yourself, all right, I'm just not gonna buy a lot of shit here. But when you see it, you're like, damn, this is like the fuck. I haven't seen
Be
this. or-
selective. You know, you can
It's
be
like
selective.
being at one of the toy stores. I can only imagine, you, Joe. You'd be as much as you're like, I wouldn't do it. You'd fucking be in it. You'd be looking at the Millennium Falcon like, holy fucking shit, they did it. Like it looks like a movie, like you're on a movie set, like you're there.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. So I vouch for it. I would recommend it, even as much as I like to go fuck off and go to the Dominican Republic or whatever, to spend the money and for the experience that it is and the stuff that we like.
You get what you pay
It's
for.
easy. It's fucking easy.
It's
I
at least a
I
once in a
love
lifetime
throwbacks and shit.
opportunity. You know, you got to do at least once.
Way better.
gotta-
than
you gotta
Six
do it
Flags.
multiple
Makes all that
times.
shit look stupid.
Bro, if you want to book a Disney trip, we'll go. Let's go.
We'll go to Galaxy's Edge.
I'm saying if we go as a group, it's cheaper. You know.
You guys carry this. I'm gonna go grab that shit.
Well,
Yeah, I would definitely like to see the Galaxy's Edge. I'd love to go on the Millennium Falcon. I think that's probably the thing that would be the most hype for me is to be in. If I was in the Falcon, I think I would lose my mind. I wouldn't even have to do anything. I'd just fucking be inside of it. It's just like, holy shit.
Well, so
We get to sit in the captain's chair.
let me
Fuck.
tell you about what it's like. I mean, I went there before they were still building Galaxy's Edge, but there was like a little Star Wars area, and they had the cantina where he's like, you know, I'll be careful. You'll be dead.
You'll be dead.
You'll be
Dr.
dead.
Evazan.
Yeah.
Ponda Baba.
So I got to go to the cantina there. That was pretty cool. But and then like they would have like Kylo Ren would just walk out with like 6 stormtroopers.
See, that's what would take me out of it. When I see the fucking Disney Star Wars characters, it pisses me off.
No, but it's cool
Like, I want to
because
see stormtroopers. I wouldn't want to see the first
you
order
do. You
cunts.
see 6 stormtroopers, and it's not always just Kylo Ren. They have different people. But you know, I'm just using
But
Kylo
it
Ren.
ain't
as an
Darth
example.
Vader no more. It
They
ain't
had-
Princess Leia. They're gonna show you Rey. It's they're gonna push their own
They
shit.
they might have Vader. I don't think
I like
that
to
it's-
pretend like
they
those-
have the Vader experience. I literally looked at the whole list, and they have a whole thing. You know,
No, see, you can't look
R2.
at it like as a.
If I saw
bitter-
Rey, I'd have to
It's
drop
not-
kick it. It's
it's more authentic than you think it would
Yeah.
be. It's just
It's
more,
cool because they'll just walk out and they'll like it's like oh shit.
it's a sin what
there
they
you go.
did with that whatchamacallit, the hotel that they were doing, that fully immersed experience with Star Wars that they had to close down because they were just
That
charging
was-
way
yeah,
too
they
fucking
figured
much
out
money
that
for
was
that shit.
way too much.
It was
That
like
way-
$5,000 to stay at this hotel just for fucking
I think it was more.
Star Wars characters to come up to you and say, breakfast is ready. I'm like, I don't need that,
You get purple milk or whatever, blue
They're gonna
milk.
turn that into
Whatever.
a fucking ride. They're gonna turn that into a whole part of the park. Like, all right,
Now, is the Guardians of
Fuck
the
that
Galaxy ride the one that replaced another ride? Wasn't there like an old ride that got shut down?
The
and something
the
replaced it?
Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, I think. No, that wasn't the Guardians of the Galaxy. No, yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster was replaced by a Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
They closed down
Not yet,
Splash
not
Mountain
yet.
too, right?
that did.
Isn't that-
Yeah, that's getting
that
revamped.
was something
They're
that-
actually putting in like $17 billion over the next 10 years in Disney World. It was
Jesus
like,
Christ.
all right, you guys want to see this crap?
Yeah, let's see it. What do you got
All right,
for us?
Roberto, you know you like this. Come on, ready? And I wish you were holding them because they're sturdy as shit. So this is
Nice.
an extremely
I can't see shit.
solid
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. It is the
That is
movie, of
very
course.
cool.
It is Avengers, but I saw it. I was like, Rob.
I'm not going to be worthy enough to pick up my own keys. It's going to be great. That's sick.
So,
Thank you, brother man.
of course, sticking with the same theme of keychain.
That's
A
sick
very
too.
solid.
Is that a Millennium Falcon? I can't
Millennium
see.
Falcon.
It's small for me. All right.
That
And
is
I'm like,
so
Rob's
cool.
probably gonna want this one too, but it's for Joe. And I got this because of Pedro Pascal and the Star Wars.
Is that Mando's
the
mask?
way.
Mando.
Mando!
Hey,
It's
Mando!
Come on, Mando. Deuceless spice, Mando.
Forget about the kid.
And it's funny,
Great
actually,
advice.
the first thing I saw, the first day I walked into fucking Universal, first thing I see, One Piece. Like a whole stand.
Ah,
But they just didn't have, like, I'm sorry, they didn't have what you would have needed. They had a shirt, they had a couple of shirts.
you'd have to
So I
sew
got
like 6
Joe
of
a
them
shirt.
together for me.
I know. I was like, fuck, man. They ain't got they didn't have anything, like, cool and little. I was like, motherfuckers. But I did get Joe a cool t-shirt from them.
Yeah, he was telling me you got him the Jolly Roger, their little skull with the straw hat.
Yeah, it says Luffy on the
Shirt.
front. It's got that thing on the back.
Boogie, what
Oh, I
up?
gotta get him for it.
Just
So,
to
yeah.
acknowledge some comments, Hells said he got to ride in the front of the rock and roller coaster, as did I. It's a great
Badass.
experience. We literally
did,
went on that
way
thing
back.
like 6 times in a row because there was like no line, and that is a fast ride. Like you're giving yourself whiplash and like probably CTE when you're older, going on that ride. That's what I like though about Disney now and Universal is they have more of these more virtual rides. They're not like these
Everything's
roller
virtual.
coasters that fucking like break your neck. Like
Yeah.
when we went to Universal, the first thing I did was I went on the Hulk, and that thing left
Awesome.
me concussed. Not
I love
awesome.
it.
No,
I
I'm
love
not.
it.
It wasn't just
Highly
me.
recommend.
I thought just because of my headaches that it was just me. And literally, when the ride was over, everybody was just sitting there. It was like quiet, and everyone was just like, "Ow, my head hurts." I heard 2 people say my head hurts.
I
I
miss
had to
roller
sit
coasters.
down. Well, but that's the thing is now
You gotta
that
strap in. That thing launches you out and then just like bow rolls down and then you loop again.
it's not even
you
that.
gotta-
It's the minor
like a-
movements. It's the your head being in this thing just fucking.
You're in a fighter
fucking-
jet though. You got to know
Your brain is just hitting the walls of your skull, and
Well, traumatic brain injury with your
55 miles an
air ride.
hour on a fucking
it's like
3G down slope.
yeah, there's G-force,
I
dude.
was definitely riding that shit. I just didn't go to Islands of Adventure. I went back
Yeah.
when I was like 13.
No,
and
man, don't. I'm
hyped.
telling you, you will regret it. And then I'm telling you, it's gonna be another moment where you say, "Damn, Chris was right," because you're gonna be on that thing, and like your head is between like 2 pieces of metal, and you're just like literally just like fucking
between my neck and my
like,
back. Every ride, I felt like I
dying.
was taking a chance, but I
Oh,
was
forget
like,
it,
I'm
yeah.
not wasting a minute or a dime. I don't care how injured I get. Luckily, I actually felt great. So I don't want to bring Joe in because Joe's fucked here.
Joe's just been
Joe's
sitting
just
there,
fucked here,
fucking
so
wearing his
We can
Hulkamania
go on
shirt.
and on, but I had a great time. I wish everybody got to experience it. But what are we celebrating here? I know we're all sitting here rocking, except Chris,
Yeah.
of course. I don't know why.
Because
Chris never
I
wears
don't have
anything.
any wrestling.
a
I don't
holster.
like any of my wrestling tees. Shrunk up. I don't
Listen
know
here,
what to tell you.
brother. Get yourself some teas.
So
Fucking
today
wearing
is
Jerry the King over there.
50th birthday. Hulkamania, brother. Help.
The 70th birthday, you said?
70th. 7-0. That's fucking nuts, man.
My
70
God.
years. The guy still got the pythons, brother. He still got the yapapayas going, dude.
Yeah,
Get the
he's big.
TRT.
Yeah, I mean, it's fountain of youth, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Let me
Well,
tell you something,
whatever does-
dude.
whatever
What you
does-
gonna
whatever
do
gets
when
the
the
job done.
fountain of youth runs wild on you?
Why would you want to decay into a dead fucking old man when you can just still feel good, you know?
Hell yeah.
He just
Running
got
this beach
remarried.
shop. That's a trip we should do. If we make it to Florida, we
Oh,
got to
yeah.
go to Hogan's Beach Shop.
That's right by Disney. So
Oh, he's in like the Orlando type area?
Isn't it in Tampa?
he has 2 shops. He has one in Tampa and he has an Orlando shop. That's by Disney.
Which is the one that he's always at, though.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Hey,
Because if we're gonna go, I want to get my fucking belt signed.
Well, he's in his bar every Monday night. He does like the Hogan's Hangout karaoke. So if you want to eat, drink, and do karaoke, he's there.
Hold on a second. Rob hates karaoke. Don't forget
I do
that's
hate karaoke.
Rob's number
I
one
fucking
hated
hate
thing.
Karaoke,
I would put up with the karaoke only if I can get my belt signed.
You get to sing real American karaoke.
listen,
Nobody's
you get
gonna
to
do
blow away Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan would even be like, "Look at this fucking guy, brother."
Hey, that
This
would be
guy's
pretty
got
cool.
it."
I met
I
Hulk
might be
Hogan.
able to do
I met
that.
Hulk Hogan dressed as Sergeant Slaughter.
Really? What? When?
Yeah,
The fuck
so-
when was this?
So New York Comic Con 2013 was the
Oh.
first time I ever met Sergeant Slaughter, and I found out he was going to be there. I was already cosplaying as him for like it was actually the year I started cosplaying as him. Funny enough, and it turned out he was going to be at the show. I was like, I got to break out my Sergeant Slaughter costume. So I put on Sarge. I went to the con as Sarge, and it's the one and only time I ever went to New York Comic Con as Sergeant Slaughter, and immediately hit it off with the Sarge. His handler couldn't fucking believe it. He's like, "What's your name, kid?" I said, "Rob," and he said, "You hear that, Sarge? His name is Rob too, because his name is Robert Remus, the real name of the Sarge. We got the same first name." And then
I didn't
Hulk
know that.
Hogan actually appeared at the con the same day. So I bought this print from Sergeant Slaughter of him with Hulk Hogan and Cobra Commander in headlock. And I actually took that poster downstairs to the autographing area because Sarge had his own regular booth, like in like the main area. But if you went downstairs to where the celebrity signings were, I stood on Hulk Hogan's line, and I got Hogan to sign that very same poster in his spot. So I have a poster signed by Sarge and Hogan. And when I went up to him, he's like, "I love the get up, brother." And that was the one and only time I ever met Hogan.
That's fucking
Big
beautiful.
dude.
I mean, he's credited with
No shit.
you know, creating what we know or knew as like the WWF and World Wrestling Entertainment, right? Because like he was a bigger showman than Andre in a sense, and him and Andre had their battles.
Well,
Joe,
he had his
please
generation.
Take this away
That's-
from me because this is all for you, dude.
Yeah, I thought we would maybe spend a few minutes. We can kind of go around the table and talk about the first time you remember seeing Hulk Hogan on TV. And for me, it's hard to pinpoint it. It's very like I've been watching pro wrestling since I'm like 3-4 years old. So I think the first time I actually remember seeing him on TV was 1986. It was Saturday night's main event, and it was a Halloween episode. If you have not seen this episode, I highly recommend it because there's some wild shit in there. They do like bobbing for apples with Bobby the Brain Heenan and the Macho Man. And it's like, "Don't get the apple on Elizabeth." Yeah. And then they do a trick or treat where the kids trick or treat Roddy Piper. And they go to his house and Piper puts like bowling balls instead of candy apples. And he's just fucking with the kids the whole time. It's a great episode. It's very 80s. It's very like
Home style.
now as an adult, and they're all in costume. Like the Iron Sheik's dressed like Batman, a Hulk Hogan's dressed like Hercules, and you know it's fucking hysterical. You know, and the match that night is a tag match. It was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant versus King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. And that was the first time I remember actually watching pro wrestling. And I was like, "What is this? This is awesome." They look like superheroes. They're huge. They're just, you know, they look like big, you know, neon stop signs and everything. So, you know, long after that, my mom would always take me to the video store, and I would rent nothing but wrestling tapes. So I watched all the Coliseum home video collection of Hulk Hogan, and you know I watched WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, and then you know WrestleMania 3 was in Michigan, but they actually showed it on closed circuit television in the theater at Madison Square Garden, and my parents took me to that. So I watched all of WrestleMania 3 in the arena at Madison Square Garden on closed circuit television, which was way before pay-per-view was there. That's how fucking old I am, goddammit. Like the wheel was invented and then closed circuit was invented.
They're not even Joe. They're not even called
Hey.
pay-per-views anymore. They're premium live events now. They're PLEs.
We've gotten to the point where I don't even know what they're called. So that's
even pay-per-view is old now. Jesus.
What about you, Rob? What was the first time you remember seeing Hulk Hogan on television?
I mean, Hulk Hogan was a part of my childhood from very, very early on because I had the thumb wrestler of him with Iron Sheik, and then I had the pillow pal guy that we have in the basement now. He's a replacement of my original one because the other one got torn and everything. So that's a bendy. The one I had the hole in the back with the knees bent and everything, and I remember wanting to watch wrestling as a kid, and my parents would like put it on for a little bit, and then I'd start like immediately imitating everything they do on television, and they'd shut it off. So like I'd have to like sneak it and stuff. And I don't remember a specific like the very first time I saw him on television, but I do distinctly remember him fighting Doink the Clown on television. I remember watching it. Did I swear to God it did. It had to have. It definitely did. Look it up. Look it up. Because I remember seeing it.
Never happened.
I swear to God, I seen it.
I'm going to spend the moment looking that up.
Vin, you got to look this up. He definitely fought Doink the Clown. He had
Hogan
to.
versus Doink the Clown.
See if that happened. Because I could swear to God, I still remember watching that shit. Because I remember Doink the Clown looking like such a stupid character. And I'm like, why is Hulk Hogan fighting this guy? But that's, I mean, like I said, I wasn't really allowed to watch the shit. So,
you did too?
What?
You get stoned as a child? Because that never happened.
No, I didn't start getting stoned until I was 23. But it had to have happened. I swear to God, it happened.
It doesn't look in your favor because everything that comes up is WWE 2K based.
They're saying it could have happened at WrestleMania 9. Apparently.
No.
Apparently,
I don't know why I distinctly like.
I don't see.
Like I remember that shit. I don't know why.
Against $1 Million Man in IRS.
But like I said, I wasn't allowed to watch it. So a lot of my wrestling watching happened later when I was a teenager because I would do the same thing you did. I would start renting tapes and shit and start watching a lot of the older stuff. Because even like Sergeant Slaughter, like I didn't know about Sergeant Slaughter until I was maybe like almost 10 years old because my brother had all the 80s G.I. Joe figures and he had them in a box in the attic. And one day, I found that box and my brother wasn't into toys anymore because he's 10 years older than me. So he was like, you can have them all. So that's when I found the Sergeant Slaughter figure and Duke and Cobra Commander and all those guys because the Joes that I had before that were the 90s Joes. I had the Eco Warriors Joes and the Star Brigade Joes and the shit that came later. And that's how, I became a fan of Sergeant Slaughter and then found out later on that he was a wrestler too, and then followed his whole career and started watching all of his matches. And who had a big influence on me with wrestling was one of my best friends, CJ, because CJ was a wrestler. And he got me into it again. And then once we started talking about it, then I really started watching a lot of the stuff and watched all the WrestleManias and watched this and that. And then we would start watching the pay-per-views together. And that was kind of like my resurgence into wrestling. But like I said, as a little kid, I would be like jumping off the couch and bouncing off the walls. I had ADHD and I wasn't diagnosed with it until like first grade. They put me on Ritalin for 12 years. But before that, I would just be bouncing off the walls.
I'll give you this quick story. So this is out of the words of the guy, Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne.
Bourne.
Jesus, Jason Bourne.
His name is Osborne. He shortened it to Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
He was originally supposed to face Hogan at WrestleMania 9, but Hogan refused. And
I'm not doing that, brother. I'm not
really
fighting Doink, brother. It doesn't work for me.
Said some very, this guy, he said Hulk Hogan's a big fucking dick, I think is what the asterisks mean here. He was an arrogant fuck, blah, blah, blah. So apparently, that never happened, and it was probably, apparently Hogan, there's a story behind it, but apparently Hogan did not want to fight him.
What about
that's weird. When you have vivid memories and shit that didn't
he doesn't
exist?
need to. It's not like he's obligated to fight him. You know what I mean? He's got to protect his.
Yeah, but Hulk Hogan was a dick, and he never put anybody over but himself.
You want Hulk Hogan to wrestle a clown? I mean, you know what I mean? How far can they go with that? It would.
Just beat the
You
sh-
could
beat
argue
the
that it
shit
would.
out of
It
him.
would damage his.
If the Undertaker can fight the fucking gobbledygook, then he can fucking fight Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan can fight Doink the Clown. Let's face it.
What about you, Vin? First time you remember seeing the Hulkster brother?
It's funny because like Hulk Hogan was so infused into like pop culture when I was already born. So I feel like I knew Hulk Hogan before I consciously knew. Like I knew he was a wrestler, but I remember seeing like, what was it? Mr. Mom, not Mr. Mom. Sorry,
Nanny.
Mr. Nanny. Yeah, I remember
Suburban
seeing
Commando.
like trailers for Mr. Nanny, like, and knowing he was a fucking wrestler, knowing who he was, knowing he was the Hulkamania, but I didn't. I don't know. I couldn't have consciously been watching wrestling. I'm only 4 or 5 years old when this was this, but I just knew who he was. So I've always known who Hulk was. The Hulkster's just been embedded in my, life and childhood and adulthood because of who he is and what he's been to the sport. So I feel like, yeah, when he started doing fucking Disney movies or some shit was when I was
I don't think
consciously
he ever did
acknowledging
Disney.
or whatever the fuck Mr. Nanny is. I was just saying, kids movies, trying to break into an acting career.
The Three Ninjas.
I'm pretty sure I got to try to dig it up though, because I'm pretty sure I there's a picture of me about like three years old maybe, and I'm staring at a television, old school fucking TV, and it's wrestling, and I'd be damned if it wasn't him on the screen. I really like if I'm creating a memory like Rob was, that would be the one. But I swear I will try to find this fucking picture, because I'm staring at that. I know there's one of me staring at Jeopardy actually, but. Anyway, I don't want to keep dating myself, but yeah, Hulkster just infused in my life since day one. I couldn't really exactly tell you.
From day one, the Hulkamania was running wild, brother.
Oh yeah.
Chris, what about you? Hulkamania help? First time you remember?
Well, I mean, I started watching wrestling. I'm 32. I started watching during the Attitude Era, or like the dawn of that, maybe even like right before the Attitude Era, the Razor Ramon era, I guess you could say. And
Hey, yo.
yeah,
Hey.
I never really watched WCW, so I didn't see Hulk Hogan in wrestling for a while, really. Like I would every now and then tune into WCW, but I guess where I was exposed to him is one through my brother, who always said that he was the greatest wrestler that ever lived. Him, and then he loved The Rock as well. Those were his two favorite wrestlers. Which is why WrestleMania, was it 17 or 18? 18 was so special because my brother actually went to see them. Those were his two favorite. He always said, I never really saw Hogan. He just said Hulk Hogan and The Rock. But I would say actually my first exposure was through the video game, WCW versus NWO Revenge. Great N64 video game. And that's where, and the music in that game was great. It was like this like ridiculous like 8-bit rock music that would just like play constantly in the background.
Battletoads Double Dragon.
And like they
Better on
actually
the
had
Sega Genesis,
entrances
Joe.
and everything, and you got to be in the NWO. Like I always kind of knew about the NWO, but I didn't channel surf between like during the Monday Night Wars. I was loyal to WWF. I was very much like, these motherfuckers are trying to put them out of business. Like I can't let that happen. I'm gonna watch. I want to see what happens.
Vince loyalist.
Not
Day
even Vince. It
one.
was Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Like I was looking out for WWF.
On my post.
I remember being confused as a
watch it. I'm
kid
gonna
because
watch
there
it
was two
fucking 100%.
products.
There's two products.
'Cause
And
I didn't know what the difference between WCW and WWF were as a kid. Like I just didn't get it. That like
they made it
'cause
clear, man.
so many
I
people
knew.
jumped ship that it was like, well, which one are they on? Are they on this? Are they on that? Because then Hulk Hogan was in WWF and then he was in WCW.
He was. I mean, through my lens, he was always in WCW. From when I started watching. So, but where I really first was exposed was Suburban Commando. I remember, like, it was just randomly on the TV, and I was a little kid fucking sitting there, and I was like, holy shit, it's Hulk Hogan in a movie. And I thought it was the greatest
Arnold.
movie ever. It's kind of a shitty movie, apparently. It's got horrible ratings, but I love that shit.
No Holds Barred is my favorite of his.
Well, but what's interesting about Suburban Commando, The Undertaker is in it. he literally is a character in it. And it was like,
Nice.
at that point, he was already the dead man, and he's like, he's dead. But here he is acting in a movie, and there comes a point where he finally like speaks. He's like a mute character, and then like near the end of the movie, he finally speaks, and he's got this voice of like a little girl. And it was just like funny as fuck, It's as a kid, it was great, and I never actually got to see the end of that movie. I remember I was watching, I was captivated, and then my mom was like, we gotta go," and I was like, "But I'm watching this. I want to see what happens." Suburban Commando, and they were like, "No, we gotta go. It's all right. Well, we got it on VHS. We'll watch it," and I never saw it again. So I mean, but that like put Hulk Hogan like kind of front of mind, and then when finally he came to WWF and he faced off against The Rock, it was like just this monumental moment. And again, I saw it all through just my brother's reaction to everything, and how like blown away he was by these two megastars finally colliding. And I loved Hogan's run in WWF. He had a pretty decent run, and then from there I was able to go back. They put out this like metal collector's edition. I got it somewhere over here, and it was like a 3-pack DVD, and it was like a bunch of Vince McMahon. It was like a Vince McMahon DVD, a Hulk Hogan DVD, and I think it was a Roddy Piper DVD, and it was like 3 guys in one. And I got to watch all of Hogan's old matches and everything, and he's just a fucking man. I don't know, it's like, how can you not like Hulk Hogan? He's like,
if you worked with him, you probably wouldn't.
You gotta have guts. Hey, listen,
Jesse the Body definitely hates him.
there's a lot of people who don't, but
Jesse the Body tried to unionize, and Hulk Hogan was the one that ratted him out to Vince.
He's a Vince loyalist too. It's funny, you know what I was thinking? Growing up, I was a big sports kid. Grew up watching Sports Center, and I remember when fucking a moment when Hulk Hogan came on the radar, and Joe will love this one too, was when Dennis Rodman fucking went on to the NWO.
Oh yeah,
and skipped the finals. That was everywhere.
Yeah,
and that was when I would say to that point of like, I was just getting into wrestling. Like the WWF was like, and the whole WCW thing was like really hot.
NWO.
That NWO
was
specifically
really,
was just like, it just came onto your radar as a kid. It was just something that was there. It was pop
people
culture,
were wearing
so.
NWO shirts just like out in public, and it was
So
everywhere.
I remember Sports Center, it was like, and they used the clip on fucking The Last Dance and everything, but I do remember it was like, oh, Dennis Rodman went and hung out with Hulk Hogan. That was, what the fuck? That's so weird. That's the weirdest thing ever. Why would that happen? Why would this, all right, Hulk Hogan, yeah, fucking A. But yeah, so I always found it weird when he had the beard. It just looked, the blonde hair with the dark beard.
The black stubble with the yellow stash.
Makes me a heel brother.
Yeah, it was a big heel. That's true. Yeah, he just looked like a bad guy.
I mean, they've been doing celebrities in wrestling since the very first WrestleMania. I mean, they had Regis Philbin was an announcer. Liberace was there for some fucking reason. Muhammad Ali was a guest ref. Like they
Bad
brought
Bunny,
a lot of
Logan
star
Paul.
power in there. Yeah, they're still doing it to this day.
The history
Even
of
Snoop Dogg.
the fact that it's so homegrown, that's the one thing that makes like the WWF so interesting, is like the evolution of it all is that it's kind of the brainchild of, not one guy, but a dynasty, the McMahons, and it's like it was a carnival. It started as this carnival, and it just snowballed into this massive
It's a circus
thing now, and it is, it's an unwieldy beast because they're trying to appeal to more people while keeping it traditionally, I think controversial was the thing that always helped the wrestling entertainment business, was a controversy and a way to use whatever was happening in the zeitgeist of the pop culture as like a way to get into people's like living rooms. They would take common issues and conflict and make it funny, make it something that people would pick sides, but it was all in good fun. You knew when you left. The kayfabe never really.
The
died,
kayfabe was
you know
definitely
what I
much
mean.
more serious in the '80s. I mean, Even the early '90s. I mean, Sergeant Slaughter got legitimate death threats when he did the whole Iraqi sympathizer thing. You know, people like Nikolai Volkov could never go get beers with Hulk Hogan because that was a heel in the face. You know, you couldn't have that kind of stuff. Like it was just like it was that big at that time.
That much.
Yeah.
McMahon and them, they were smart enough to know the immersion. I guess that's the word of this show. It was worth it, and it paid dividends where people really believed what was happening there was really happening.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you remember when you found out that it was fake? Like as a kid, when do you remember how did you immediately, Joe, when you started watching, was your dad like it's fake? You know, like from the start.
My dad from day one hated pro wrestling. He was big boxing fan. So me and my dad would watch all of Muhammad Ali fights. We watched every Mike Tyson fight. So he loved boxing. And what is this shit? This fake shit. This fucking, what is this shit? He hated it. But my mother loved Hulk Hogan. And honestly, my stepdad, who raised me, he kind of looked like Hulk Hogan. He had a blonde mustache. He had blonde hair. He had blue eyes.
Shit.
One day, he kind of. There's times where for Halloween we dressed him up like Hulk Hogan. We put the shirt on with the belt and the headband. And,
he must have loved that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Would always tell me it's fake. I never really cared because for me, it was like a live superhero cartoon. That's just
entertaining.
So I think the first time that I saw glimpses of it was there was a time, I think it was in the mid '80s, where Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Iron Sheik got arrested from being in a car together, and they had I don't know, weed or crack or something, coke or something, and they got arrested. And it's like these guys just fought each other at WrestleMania, and now they're in the car hanging out. Something's going on here. So that was the first time the news broke. It was on all the news stations where they kind of questioned whether it's sports, and then Vince had to come out and say, no, it's sports entertainment. And that's how they kind of kept from being sued, and that's how they kept from losing their license, because you had to get a sporting license in all the cities that you were in. But if you listed it as entertainment, no license required. You buy into what they're telling you, and hey, yeah, it's scripted, it's predetermined, and then that was it. So, but that's never prevented me from watching pro wrestling. No one who watches pro wrestling. Some people do. Some people are really dumb, and you can't help that. But some people just watch it and they think it's real, and he's really getting hurt, and he's really hates this person. You suspend your disbelief. It puts you in the world of of characters that are just you have good guys, you have bad guys. You cheer, you boo. It's just what it is. It's like fucking live action medieval times. It's the way I look at it.
Right.
Granted, people can still get hurt. It's not completely fake. Where a body is still jumping from the top rope, and if it's not done right,
I don't know if you guys just heard, but Big E, the New Day wrestler that was dropped on his neck, had to announce the end of his career.
What?
So he's never going to get cleared again to wrestle. So
doctors told him never to wrestle again.
His career is over, and the guy's not even 34 yet. He's young, and he was in the prime of his career, and things happen, and it's a tragedy to have an accident like that. But it blends athleticism with comedy, with theater, with acting, with stunt people. They're basically live action stuntmen. That's what they are.
100%.
I hear Michael Cole is looking to retire soon, so maybe Big E can find his way into
I don't think
an announcing thing.
Yes, Big E, I think could very well suit that,
especially with the love that he has for the business. I think he would be a good commentator.
He's a good hype guy. He's even if he's by the New Day side as a manager, he'll always be in the mix, I think.
And didn't they just tap Michael Cole as
they changed the announce teams.
They made him the face and voice.
Well, he's been that,
WWE.
but they put him on both for a while now. Raw has been this Irish guy who everybody hates. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's just. I hate to be mean, but it's just he's not that good. And Corey Graves. And then on SmackDown, it was Michael Cole and I think Wade Barrett or something. But anyway, Michael Cole's going to be on both now.
Yeah, he's the guy. I feel like knowing wrestling was fake. My mom was another one who was like, it's all bullshit. What a waste of time. Blah 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 blah. You know, I played football. Like I said, I grew up watching Sports Center and all this shit. But to me, there was just a hilariousness to the whole thing. I had friends who loved it, and there was just something funny about it, and you couldn't get over that fact that they were athletic. They were just doing things you would just not normally see. So as much as it was fake, they were still doing things that were physical. There was an athleticism to the entire thing that you couldn't ignore. Like, I would never fucking jump off those ropes and do all those, do all this shit. And so you just got a kick out of it. I think, like you said, it's live action theater. It's like anything else, any kind of entertainment. It's definitely a unique thing. You just don't see it aside from football or sport, like true sport. You just don't see anything like it. So, yeah, I've always enjoyed it, but it's just lost its flavor after a certain time. Like for everybody, I think everybody, as of recent, has the same opinion.
What drove it in the 80s is like what Joe said. It was like real life superheroes. You see them on television. And
people believed it.
You can go meet them. You know what I mean? It's not like Superman where he's literally just a person on a page. You know what I mean? He's completely fictional. Hulk Hogan can appear at a mall. You know what I mean? And you can like meet him and shit. So it's like these people are real and they're on television and they were personalities and they brought other personalities like Mr. T and stuff like that. So kind of like bridge the gap between like just entertainment and wrestling and Vince McMahon really drove all that and the merchandising and all that stuff and it's just it's amazing how it's extremely popular to this day, even without the kayfabe, even without the personalities that they had back then. They're still pushing the product and it's still going strong. And I don't think the WWE is going anywhere anytime soon.
No, they're not.
You've got celebrities like Bad Bunny, like bringing an air of legitimacy to it, for fans that weren't wrestling fans and bringing people back. And there's always like that generation of people that brings them back. And, you get these superstars that get you to want to watch, like Rhea Ripley. God, love her. And congratulations to her for getting engaged. Broke every heart across America.
I was bought into that kayfabe because I had to ask Chris. I was like, "Wait, does she really talk to this Dominic kid, or what is this?"
Yeah, no.
He wishes.
While we're talking about kayfabe, two things I wanted to mention is one thing that pushed the issue, and as a kid even made me know that it was fake, was the steroid trial. Because that was like a thing that was kind of just looming at that time, and it was like a very real thing. Like, oh, steroids, steroids. Kind of took a lot of the piss out of it.
I don't give a shit.
Let them use his steroids. It makes them more fun.
I don't care.
Well,
it's not like Mark McGuire breaking all kinds of records because he's using performance enhancing drugs and it makes a difference. The outcomes are predetermined anyway. Who gives a fuck if they're all
If we're gonna talk
cheats?
about this, I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna make the thumbnail a giant fucking syringe.
Yeah, here we go again.
Like last time.
I don't think it's as big a deal as people
I think it's okay if they're using it to heal. But the other thing I wanted to mention too before we move on from the wrestling shit was if you want a really cool piece of history to watch, look up John Stossel and Eddie Mansfield. And it was pretty much like a news, like a expose in 1984 where this wrestler broke kayfabe and went to the news and pretty much exposed wrestling and showed him how everything is staged, and he gave the guy a body slam and showed him how this is how you land and everything, and he just kind of exposed it. And I think he even took a blade and he razored his head to bleed. He's like, this is what we do, if I remember correctly.
Blacklisted.
Yeah, and then beyond, so that guy killed his career. Yes, he exposed the business, and then after that, what ended up happening was who was it? David Schultz. he's it. So this guy, John Stossel, this like news anchor, he's backstage at a wrestling event,
that
and he's
fake?
talking to this guy that's
It's an
like, you
open hand
don't
slap.
like. This is the last guy you want to say anything cross with. And he's like, well, I think it's fake. And he's like, you think it's fake? And he smacks the shit out of him. I think he smacks him twice. He like,
Well, 3 times.
he like fucking
3
like,
times. He knocks him to the
detached
ground
his
like
eardrum or something like that. The guy said he had tinnitus the rest of his life. He ended up getting a huge. The guy got fired, and he got a huge lawsuit. He made a bunch of money off of it or whatever. But yeah, look it up.
Everything.
John Stossel.
Apparently, Vince
David
actually
Schultz.
defended him initially, but just never gave him a job again. Like he never like made him wrestle again, but he actually stood up for the guy.
That's
at
a
the time.
whole controversy, conspiracy of its own because I think he said that Vince told him to do it pretty much, and then but he didn't tell him to do that, so.
It's like rough him up.
Rough him up a little bit. Make
There's
him,
I
also
want to hear any shit that fucking wrestlers died from steroids because that's all bullshit. So, do you guys know the when
Drugs and alcohol.
they died from the coke. You know?
the reasoning why they started like switching over from like cocaine and weed to like pills and somas and all uppers, downers, and all that shit? You know the story behind that?
there's a
Because they weren't
specific
allowed to smoke
medication.
weed
I'm looking
anymore?
it up. There's a specific medication that they would take to sleep that was legal at the time, and that now
Marijuana?
it's illegal. I'll look it up,
They would
Joe. You
smoke
can
weed?
continue.
What?
You're
What?
talking about the steroid trial, right?
No,
Those-
it's
yeah.
something that would put them to sleep. Like they would take this shit to like as a downer, and it was totally legal. It was like a drink that you could drink, and they would.
Soma. It's a soma.
There's
Pill.
somas, but it was something else I'm talking about.
That's what they use. for
I'll look it up
fucking-
while you say what you were gonna say.
So right shortly after the steroid trial, Vince McMahon outlawed weed in the dressing room. Like you were not allowed to smoke weed. And a lot of the wrestlers, honestly, they smoked weed after the match just to relax and calm down. So taking that out of the equation and having them take off steroids, they went and they found alternatives. And a lot of the alternatives made them addicted to these pain pills, these medications, these uppers, these legal shit, just fucking prescription pills, Xanax or whatever the fuck. They were abusing the shit out of that. These were big fucking dudes. So, that's the reason why you saw this huge jump in deaths and in pro wrestling and things like that. It's not from weed or steroids. It's from the fucking pills that they abused and they fucking overdosed and they would just go off the rails with that shit. Like, I don't know if you guys have been watching this season of Dark Side of the Ring, but there's some really fucking good episodes, man. There's some really, really solid episodes. I just watched the one with Marty Jannetty, and that guy's
that was interesting.
You watched it?
Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring with Marty Jannetty. Yeah.
Everybody hates Shawn Michaels, right? It's a piece of shit.
Oh, he actually at the end said that he loves Shawn Michaels now.
Now he does.
Shawn Michaels literally fucking baptized him. They
Marty
literally
Jannetty's another piece of shit.
rebaptized him. They got him another job. He fucked up his opportunity. He acknowledges that he fucked up his opportunities. Fucking
Addict.
they
He
brought him
no-showed
back.
to one of CJ's shows once. He was supposed to wrestle on one of the cards at CJ, the NYWC Sportatorium over there. Never showed up, so they took his Hasbro figure and threw it in the ring. It moves on. That's probably one of the funniest things I ever saw.
Yeah. But what else do we want to talk about? Do we want to actually maybe go around and talk about? It's been like 3-4 weeks already, but we all saw Oppenheimer. Is that
I
right?
didn't see Oppenheimer.
No, you're fucking.
Chris.
Also, shout out to Palpatine's birthday. I know we were talking about.
Yes, Ian McDermott's birthday. Let's acknowledge it. Good.
Ahsoka's coming out in like a week or two, so we'll be watching that. Star Wars is definitely going to start bubbling up again.
Ahsoka Tano. Yeah.
You're fully
August
aware.
23rd.
Your reaction to Oppenheimer. I want to hear how you felt about it.
Van, you start us off.
I mean, it's like I don't know. It's not.
Did it meet the hype?
It can't live up to the hype in terms of like what I think people think they're gonna see. But for me, it's just it's a film. It's like the difference between a film and a movie. So it's very intense, and I have to see it again, like at home, just to like enjoy it. But it's definitely for most people, I think they're gonna find it kind of like boring because they're not gonna be engaged in exactly what is happening and what's really unfolding. And the whole point in the movie is this tension. To me, it was this tension that like he's destroyed the world. We just haven't lived it out yet. That's the whole thing. Like the thing that he created will eventually wipe humanity off the face of the earth, and it'll be like a big reset. And he was just constantly living with this doom and this feeling that he killed everybody. You know, he just couldn't help but feel that way. So, to me, the movie is not entertaining in the way that you go to watch, I don't know, fucking Terminator 2 or any one of these other movies or Marvel. It's an intense film. The dialogue is just so very intense, and everything that they're saying is like has a purpose, and it because it's so focused on what they're saying. There's nothing really else going on. You're not seeing the science happen per se. They're infusing like visual elements to this movie that are trying to at least visualize what they're doing, but so much of it is dialogue driven and character driven and history. If you don't understand the history and what actually happened in that time period and the outcomes, you're going to be kind of lost. But I think it's an easy 9 of a movie. It's just like so intense. You're watching it and it's very intense. That's my takeaway. That's how I felt when I watched it. It's nuclear bombs. I don't know. There's just no other topic or thing that could exist. And aside from like showing you it, I know everybody wanted to see the explosion, but I think you could watch a million of those YouTube videos. The end scene of the movie is the world ending, basically. So that's the visual you're kind of left with as you leave. But I think
What do you mean the world ending? And what year is the world ending?
Well, you saw the end of the movie?
No, I didn't see the movie at all. But you're saying the end of the movie is the world ending. Is it a projection of the future, or is it at a certain point in time?
It's Oppenheimer's like tortured soul. It's like what he's like seeing in his head. He's constantly, because they're flipping back and forth in time. At one point, obviously during the building of it, he's like, we have to do this to defeat the Nazis because the Nazis are trying to do this too.
Right.
So if we don't do it, they're gonna do it because a discovery was made, and all these people, because they're such a select few, they all know each other. They all know each other in a way because they all went to Oxford or they all went to these schools, and there's only select places where you could study fucking what they were studying back in 1926. So it's a great biography. If you want to see a biography, this is the best biographical movie since probably like Chaplin or it's up there with those kind of movies.
But they do take liberties, right? I mean, that's what I heard from like his son. They said like there's a plot line where he murders somebody. It's like hinted at.
He plots to kill his teacher. Like he injects some kind of poison into an apple, but then the teacher never eats it and he throws it away. So it's like a moot point kind of thing. And like there was no evidence to suggest that he ever did something like that. So they're kind of miffed that like they would like tarnish his character in such a way.
Right.
But that's really what the big stink was. It's about a fucking apple.
Yeah. I think in terms of liberties, you can only take so many liberties in terms of what was said in the room at the time. But the whole thing's based on this Oppenheimer book, and he definitely wasn't shy about sharing the process after it became, like declassified and investigated and all this shit. So,
I was gonna
you
say,
should watch it, but you won't. I know you'll never see this movie ever.
Joe, you saw it?
Joe saw it.
What'd you think?
I fell asleep probably like 30 minutes in. It's very heavy dialogue. I do like the topic. I love, anything World War related. I like history. I like seeing something so catastrophic, in its infancy, like kind of built and all those things that they had to kind of go through to kind of get this thing built and kind of beat the Nazis and even the Russians during the Cold War, like a nuclear arms race. It's very Metal Gear-esque.
Metal Gear, Gerlukovich.
But I will say, that sound quality-wise, there's never been a movie that I thought sounded better than that. It's just, there's just every little particle, every little, like, Vin is right about the tension, like the music, the effects, just the way that it goes from shot to shot to shot to shot. It's very everything in the movie's done really well. Like the acting is great, the cinematography is great, the lighting, the sound. It's all top tier, 10 out of 10 shit. It's just that it's a very long, dialogue driven movie, and you need food. You need food and snacks, and you can get through it. That's, you know.
Maybe a bathroom break, and you need subtitles. In my opinion, every Christopher Nolan movie, after the second or third watch, needs fucking subtitles.
I really wish we had that in the movie theaters. Subtitles would have helped so much.
If Phil was watching, he's the one that let me onto this. I didn't know this, and Phil is a film study. He knows, he really knows what goes into making a movie. So apparently Christopher Nolan mixes the sound on like this, whatever, like in the same track. Whereas other movies, it will be like, oh, the dialogue is on this track and the music is here. Apparently to build that tension that we're talking about, like a common theme of the movie, the sound is together. So when they're talking and the music is building, he doesn't want you to hear what they're saying exactly. He knows that like you might not catch every syllable, but the moment and the emotion is there. It's just you can't help but feel it as that music takes over as they're fucking talking, and you're like, I kind of want to know what he just said. I'm very curious what the the snappy dialogue or the back and forth was right there. It's like why I watch Tarantino movies. It's the snappy dialogue and that humor and those little quips that you don't catch. You can't catch it all in one movie. In one watch. But going back, definitely gonna have subtitles and snacks.
Well, some movies are good enough that you can watch them once and you never need to watch them again.
You never need to watch them again.
Listen, that's never. I don't think that's ever happened ever in my life. I will tell you what, never. I have not watched a movie I liked and only sat through it one time. I have to go back. I have to dissect. That's why The Big Lebowski is one of the best movies ever, because I don't care how many times you watch it, you're going to catch something that you fucking missed every time you watch it.
I'm finishing my coffee.
Goodfellas.
How did I miss that?
Goodfellas
how did I miss
is
the
one of those
album
movies.
cover? They're flipping through albums. There's the fucking guy that,
Autobahn.
Big Lebowski fucking... Yeah. So you can see there's a few... Anyway, so that's why I rewatch movies. But yeah, one and done, sure.
Hey,
Rob,
Laura,
what'd you think of it?
local show check. This is my associate, Jeffrey Lebowski. We're here to see little Larry.
Annihilated.
Larry, I'm here to see you. Oh no, man. We didn't want to make you think that we were the police.
Is this your homework? Is this your homework, Larry? We know it's his fucking homework, man. Fucking, where's the fucking money?
Oh my god.
Is that your car?
Kill your father, Larry!
God. So what would you rank the movie? You fell asleep, Joe. All the hype, it's like a year plus worth of hype. This movie's got delayed, and it's the only thing we could see on the internet. But what do you give it?
It's an 8.5 to me. It's not a 10 out of 10.
Motherfucker hands out 8.5s like they're fucking ice cream bars at a fucking playground.
All right. I'm starting to think though. Whole number. Would you lean 9 or would you go 8? Whole number.
Well, 0.5 rounds up in math class.
Math, yeah, that's true.
I mean, everything is really good. Like, if you were just to break the movie down into the parcels that I told you about, yeah, it's a 10, it's a 9. But from start to finish, like, I don't know. That's not the kind of movie that I might watch one more time, and then that would be it. It's not a Big Lebowski, Pulp Fiction, where I can just, it's there's no way. It's too exhausting and it's too draining on, like, everything that you're kind of, the paces that it kind of puts you through. So, well done movie, just not something I would watch a lot. You know.
Right.
Fair enough.
Right. Fair.
Well, our viewers seem to not give a shit about Oppenheimer either. But Rob, what did you think of it?
If I had to give it a score, maybe like a 7.5.
Wow.
I
Really
didn't
going down.
hate the movie. Florence Pugh was probably the best part of the movie.
That's the part I will
it was very dialogue driven, like you said, you know. And I'm into history movies too. I'm especially World War II, American Revolution, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm into movies like that. I can hear myself.
I'm sorry. That was me.
Somebody,
I'm like, wait, what?
Joe.
But I think it was a good movie. You know, it was a film. It was true film. You know, you go see a lot of blockbuster and shit that's just flashy and quippy, but this was like you went to go see the movies, you know, and that's why like we had the experience we did. We went to go see it on the biggest fucking movie screen in North America, and you know, like that's the kind of movie you see on that kind of screen, you know. And I think that the experience going to see it with you guys was a hell of a lot of fun. I wouldn't trade that for the world. The movie itself, I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I can't see myself watching it.
You won't watch it
again.
with your dad at home?
That's what makes me base my 7.5. It's like it was a good movie. I don't regret seeing it. You know, I didn't hate every moment of watching it. I enjoyed it. You know, I was fully locked in. I think where I find that I deducted points is that a lot of the times it felt like it was all over the place. Like scenes were very quick and then they're cut into something else. And it's like, all right, well, my brain's trying to like lock in on this story and the shit's just happening at a rapid pace. And even though it's such a long movie, a lot of shit happens in those 3 hours that you watch. And I think that's kind of what fucked me up. And then somebody had to remind me that some of the movie was black and white and some of the movie wasn't because I didn't even pay attention to that shit. It's like, wait, what?
Fuck, really?
Well, so to the point of rewatching movies, though, like, did any of you ever rewatch Inception?
Yes.
You rewatched it? Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I didn't rewatch it. I saw it once.
That's what I'm saying. You watched it once. Did you rewatch it after that?
No, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I never watched it again.
You know, like
I've seen The Dark Knight about 50 times though.
Yeah, but that's the Dark Knight. You know, it's a Batman movie.
I'm
How the
just
fuck
saying,
do you not
some
see a
movies
Batman?
you only need to
Well,
watch
I mean, the other
once, but
Batman
they're
movie
better
with
than
Robert
an
Pattinson, I'll
8.5.
never see again.
Well, then here's the debate. Like, what belongs in a movie theater then? Only Marvel, only fucking, Terminator. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I think the diversity is great. I think that movies like Oppenheimer should exist for sure.
Hold on. Just imagine this. For a year and a half, you're watching commercials, and the commercials and the ads and all the hype and the fucking virus. It's about Shawshank Redemption and this guy that ends up going to prison, right? And he gets framed for this murder that he didn't do, and Andy Dufresne. Listen, I grew up on that movie. It was on TBS or whatever every fucking, so often, every 3 months.
I saw that shit on TV at like
7 hours to watch. It's like a 7-hour fucking movie, right? Like if you watch it on TV because of ads. And I'm just saying, like, this is one of the best movies ever. I love watching that movie. I don't watch it all the time, but if it's on, like, I'm gonna watch it. That wouldn't play well in a movie theater to an audience these days. You know what I mean? Like, that would just play poorly for a number of reasons.
Well, how did it perform in its day?
Not well. I think it was like fucking overwhelmingly like rejected as a movie in the theater. I believe so. I could look
Shawshank Rejection.
Yeah. So I just mean to say the only reason I say that is like because then like you're getting into this territory of I think Joe's ranking this based on what he's seeing on what he's visually seeing and what he's experiencing versus like again trying to compare it to a Marvel movie or something that's truly exciting and out of your seats or something that has to do with one of the pop culture zeitgeists that we love, the fandoms that we're a part of, whether it's Star Wars or Ghostbusters or this. Again, it gets philosophical because it's a big question because I think out there it's like they're not putting a lot of movies in the theaters like comedies and things that we used to fucking go, whether it was old school or Anchorman they're not putting that in theaters because it's not this big fucking blockbuster, $600 billion fucking event, and it just begs that question, like what is a good movie and what's a good movie experience.
I
Sometimes
feel
there's
like a lot
just,
of shit just gets pushed to these streaming services, and they never see the light of the movie screen.
yeah, I mean, it's low quality, so why would you see it? They're just pumping out volume. So yeah, it's like a fundamental.
What makes a movie rewatchable is there's scenes within that movie that you loved or you can't wait to watch again. Like that's why you would rewatch a movie. That's why we would go to Blockbuster and rent something that we already seen 10 times, because sometimes you watch it with someone who didn't see it, you live vicariously through them, and it's an all new experience again for you. But there's really nothing in that 3 hour movie Oppenheimer that I would say, wow, that was really cool. Wow, that was a great scene, or that dialogue was awesome. Or I'll remember that line. Like there was nothing like that stuck out to me. Like I would probably remember in 10 years, other than it was a good story, start to finish. It gave you the full, the full meal.
The
It
gadget.
fed you all the way through. But to me, to have a movie be rewatchable is you have to have memories of it. You have to have some remembrance of a scene or a line or something there that like you really enjoyed it. You cannot wait to see again. Like as soon as I saw the Hulk come out with the Avengers and that whole scene, you just get goosebumps, when they're all standing together and the music's playing. Like as soon as that movie ended, I could not wait to go back and take my girlfriend to go see it at the time to watch it again, because I want to see that scene again. Like that was such a cool scene. And when you're in a theater and everyone pops for it and then they're like, oh, like it enhances, the adrenaline and the, endorphins in your body to kind of
And when
like
that first Avengers movie came out, probably seen it like 5 times the movie theaters. It was like people were just losing their shit.
See, I
was
hate
an
that.
event.
That's one of the things I hate about the Marvel movie experience. It's like, shut the fuck up, keep your happiness to yourself. I don't want to hear you pop. I want it silent in there.
I'm not
It's
even
like a
talking
ride.
about like
I
in
don't
the
know.
theaters. I just mean like the pop culture movement of it. It was like this was the first time where like they made multiple movies that built up like characters to tell like this grand story where they include all these characters, and now there's like one cohesive story that ties them all together. It was like the first time that was like really done and like done well. And like Captain America got his own movie, Thor got his own movie, the Hulk had his own movie, and like they bring all these guys together, and now like you see them interacting, and they don't have to waste time in that movie explaining who everybody is. They get right to the fucking action, and I think that's where a lot of those movies found their success.
Well,
Can I go
That's
back
the most
to
recent
something from earlier? I was talking about a drug that wrestlers were abusing back in the day. I found it while we were talking about all of this. So
Wow.
in the 90s, maybe even 2000s, there was a drug called GHB, which they say is the worst drug ever
Nexus.
formulated. It was legal, available at GNC. Essentially, it is the date rape drug. Take it, feel high for a half hour, black out, and perform unspeakably awful acts. GHB, along with Soma and steroids, are the triple threat of bad wrestling behavior. GHB being the worst. Regal was hopelessly addicted, and Eddie Guerrero, to GHB. It was supposed to allow you to sleep for 4 hours a night, but make it feel like 10. And burn excess fat while
Michael
building
Special,
muscle.
HP and Somas.
So, yeah, apparently this was a legal thing that you can buy, and wrestlers would just abuse it to fall asleep, and they would like black out, and very horrible for the heart. To Joe's point earlier. Well, what
Crazy
the fuck else is
times.
going on? We did want to mention that Vin, you know more about this than I, just because I only saw the headline that you texted it to me. But Rockstar Games has first of all, Rockstar Games is re-releasing Red Dead Redemption, which is kind of cool.
Everybody's pissed about that.
Because it's not a remaster; it's just a re-release. But I'm kind of okay with that. But anyway,
Fine.
yeah,
I'll survive. I don't need to replay it anyway. But
I'm gonna
sure.
replay it. It's a phenomenal story, better than Red Dead 2. Better than Red Dead 2. The story in Red Dead 1.
It is.
But they apparently Rockstar Games has acquired one of the biggest GTA RP, which is role playing server companies. Can you explain?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, I got into watching this whole Grand Theft Auto hack thing. that was basically somebody created a hacked server of Grand Theft Auto that you could join, and they customized the whole thing where it was beyond what you could do in the normal game. So you could role play basically. They would require you to act as a character. We're talking about all these theatrics, WWE and all this.
They added things
So-
like elements like hunger, like you need to eat and you need to like drink water.
Fill
you
the
need
gas
to
tank of the car.
Yeah, it's
It
like
wa-
GTA, but they
wasn't
made it
as
more like
monot-
real life, where you have to be mindful of little things like the law, and you have to stop at stop signs, and you have
Turned-
to. There's
To
certain
Rob's
rules.
horror, they turned GTA into Skyrim, Rob. So this is your absolute anti game. This is just you couldn't even.
But no, it's not. That's Rob would enjoy very much the role playing.
No, but like even like the little idiosyncrasies is like getting pulled over by a cop and having to pull out your fucking license and registration, like down to the nitty gritty shit like that. It would annoy me because I play games to not fucking feel like I'm in the reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
but it
I know,
adds
this
an
is-
element of realness to it,
Right.
and it's not all
But
that.
I appreciate what it is, and I don't think that it shouldn't exist just because I don't enjoy it.
Right.
But
It's not all that though. It's not like you're constantly like I have to go take a piss. It's not like that. It's not like The Sims or something. But me and Vin got into this shit where we were going into these GTA role playing lobbies, and you have to like pass a test to get in this. They make
Yeah,
you
get
like, and
approved.
they fail you over and over and over again, like over little infractions to make you re-answer it the right way, because they have all these like vocabulary terms like you can't meta game, or you can't what are the terms, Vin, I forget.
Jeez, now you're
When you
asking me to
kill,
tap
you
into
can't
that.
deathmatch people, which means like you can't just kill somebody. You have to
Yeah, you
give
can't
the other
break.
person the opportunity to participate in the exchange. Like, as in real life, Rob, I'm not gonna walk up and just shoot you in the head, because I know, like, first of all,
Consequences.
there's
and
police,
usually
all
there's
that stuff.
motivation behind it.
You're supposed to act as if, like if you see cops in real life, you're not gonna go towards that. You're gonna move away. If you're gunshots, you're gonna run. You're not gonna go towards it. So you have to kind of almost like behave as if this is your life, and you have to adopt. You become a character, right? So Vin was Junior. He was pretty much himself in a tuxedo, and I was Rusty the Bum. And
who was that guy you used to watch? The Buddha guy
I
or
watched
something,
Buddha.
right?
Buddha still plays. He was playing today, and they were all talking about that news. The fact that Rockstar bought this company, it's weird because they're not going to turn the game into that. That's not really what I see.
You're gonna take elements of it though.
But yeah, it's impressive what they did when they hacked this game open and they added all these layers and interiors and interactivity into the game that just didn't exist. So it's interesting that they bought them. A lot of people think they bought them just to close them down, but that would be mean-spirited. I don't think they'll necessarily do that or get away with that. I think it's more about how they can evolve GTA Online and make it more compelling for people, because it lacks a depth, and that's where things like Elder Scrolls Online makes its whole thing. It's like got a whole underlying economy, and that's one thing that the GTA role-playing servers have. There are people that do the day-to-day jobs and tasks and keep this economy moving, because that's how they distribute money. So money has value, so that means bank robberies have value. And when bank robberies have value, there's consequences attached to what you're doing, because there's a court system and a whole legal thing and a jail time.
And it's
kind of
funny though,
punishment.
like partaking in it
It
is
adds
funny.
to the stakes. It makes the whole thing very like, oh, this has consequence. And I think the best kind of video games are the ones that, when you're playing them, they have consequence to them. Especially, fucking RPG or something like GTA.
And playing a character is funny too. Like you have to do a
Well, you-
voice. You have to, develop a gimmick. And
Give us
like,
some Rusty the Bum.
well, yeah. So my character was Rusty the Bum, and I just walk up to people. Hey,
buddy, you give me a fucking cigarette. Can you give me a cigarette?
and they'll be like, yeah,
You got
sure.
a
Or they
shitload
might
of
tell me to
cigarettes
fuck
that
off.
were worth a lot of money.
I remember
was
one
like,
day Vin
"Yeah,
gets in my
40 packs
car
of cigarettes."
because you could buy a car legally in the game, which is a whole process. Or you could buy an illegal car, like unregistered. So I got like this pink Cadillac that's like illegal. And I remember Vin gets in and like goes into the dashboard, and I knew in the inventory already it's just stacks and stacks and stacks of cigarettes, like just rows
People gave
of
me all these.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
He's like,
bummed all
damn,
these
dude, you really got a
cigarettes.
lot of. I got thousands of cigarettes from
Cigars.
people.
My
But
God.
that was the whole thing, and like people will walk up and like put a gun to your head, be like, what are you doing here? And be like,
Hey, hey, but you got a cigarette?
and that
One
was
time
my
we-
way of like disarming people.
One time we went to go get some supplies to like make drugs. That was kind of our goal. We were gonna make drugs and sell them because there was a
In the
lot
game.
of people that would hang out.
Wesley, we have to cook.
Sorry, yeah. So, we went to this destination that somebody told me about, and you hear everything through
It's all
word of mouth, and
Yeah.
yeah, you're like kind of on a hope and a prayer. Your car has gas, so you're really like, oh, I have to go all the way to the north, and like
You
have
could
to
run out of
scope out
gas
this
in
a-
like the middle
yeah.
of the boonies, and then like all of a sudden
to
a
scope
squad
out
will
this-
pull up on you and be like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, we got pulled up on, guys, all masked up, and they like kidnapped us. They basically like I was like, oh shit, I didn't have a gun, so they had guns drawn, and that was it. You're just like, oh, I either die here and have to.
Well, no, I remember
restart.
they pulled up on us, and then Vin went running, and the guy's like, "Don't move," and Vin ran, and then the guy fucking killed Vin, and I was like,
Holy shit, what the fuck? Hey, buddy, come on, you got a cigarette?
and the guy like comes up to me, he's like, "Put up your hands," and I didn't know how to put up my hands in the game. I was like,
Say, hold on, buddy, I don't know how.
and the guy's, "Put up your fucking hands!" And then he shot me because I didn't put my hands up.
So does that mean your characters are dead in the game? Like
You
that's it? You can
respawn
never
in
play
the
that character
hospital,
again?
You lose everything. The car that you had is back there, so you gotta come up. I came up with like a stash system where I had another car that was stashed in a location that no one knew about. And it
Yeah.
had all of my shit. So eventually you learn, like you get clever because you're just forced into these shitty ass positions, and you're so regretful that you're like, I just lost all this shit.
Somebody gets your
to get
car and they
back
get into
there
it,
is-
your shit's gone. Like you
Yeah,
like
it's-
actually have to hide it. Vin had like this parking garage, like on whatever floor, and I used it too. And we would stash the car there. It really like it made it feel like, oh shit, like we made friends with some random guy. His name was Admiral John, and he talked like this: "How are you, sugar? How are you?" And he teamed up with us, and like, yeah, you just like you learn how to like make drugs, and people try to, fucking
This is what
rob
we did with our
you.
time during the pandemic.
Yeah,
I
it
played
was
Animal
good times
Crossing.
though. I think
So
if they
it
bring
was-
RP to GTA
Shocking.
in the mainstream, I think that it's a good opportunity for us to get back into it, Vin. It's just the hardest part is entry because they fucking make you do these tests, and they fail you. And honestly, if I take the test again, I'm gonna have to fucking study for it. So that's the thing. But that also keeps the assholes out too. That's the thing, is because it's
gotta
such a
earn
pain
it.
in the ass to get in. Like all the fucking douchebags that just want to try it and piss on it and leave, they're not gonna get in. And the people who do get in, they don't want to get kicked out. The other thing I wanted to mention was while we're on the topic of Rockstar, apparently Leslie Benzies, who used to be one of the founders
Directors.
of Rockstar Games, has created a new game called Everywhere. I guess it's
Yes.
out now. Apparently, people. I met somebody in ESO who the name fails me, but they subscribed to us this week. Who was telling me that I gotta pull up the name. Apparently, this is like the new game that everybody's gonna play, and it's gonna become like the most streamed game or something like that. So something to look out
Go,
for.
go to the comments real quick.
We got some grinds my gears here. Rob, you have to read that. Jared Smith, can you see the comments there, Rob?
I can, yeah.
You put a grinds my
Wait.
gears. Give
I
him
guess we'll
some-
do it as Peter. You don't really grind my gears. Game trailers and only reveal a game the year a game debuts. I waited years for South Park game news, and all THQ Nordic says about it is debut today is 2024.
I didn't.
Go to Dungeon's post. I want to see what he said.
South
There's
Park
He
games are
said
good.
breaking news on SmackDown, new champ.
Ooh,
Who's
What?
the new champ, Dungeon?
What?
There's a new champ on SmackDown.
undisputed champ. Like what?
Or new fucking intercontinental or whatever fucking champion.
Intercontinental, yeah.
U.S. champion.
Randy Savage was the greatest
Probably the new
internet.
U.S.
Intercontinental
Austin
champion.
Theory dropped the belt. It's not Roman. Don't fuck with this, Dungeon. Tell us who it was.
He's making you put it on now. See? you got to do your homework.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio, U.S. champ.
What?
Says Rey Mysterio is the U.S.
Who
champ.
was it? Was it Austin Theory? Honestly, like nobody. I think he's floundering. He's not. I think he has potential, but not a.
I had
memorable
surgery
run.
5 times in my left knee. Oh man, I was cracking up. There was a post where they talk about like falling asleep and like sleeping weird after 30, and it's just like the cut of all the wrestlers talking about their injuries and surgeries
yeah.
and shit.
I tore my quad. It required 9 stitches. I don't know what the
Completely
fuck's going on
popped
with
my
this
pectoral
Fox app.
muscle off. Rey Mysterio defeated Austin Theory for the U.S. title.
What the fuck is this? Fox
Yeah.
now.
Well, would you look at that? Rey Mysterio.
I guess I gotta watch
Still doing the old 619 to championships.
it. Oh, interesting.
Good for him. Hey, you know, Rey Mysterio is definitely one of the more talented wrestlers in the last 10 years. Like, or longer now. God, the guy's been wrestling for what, 20, 30, 25 years? How long has he been wrestling now? He was even with the
Mysterio, I think he had
WCW back in the day.
We were there for his 20-year anniversary, I think. It was at Madison Square Garden. We were there for it. At least I was there. I think Finn
But
was there.
the fact that the man can still do some of those moves at the age that he is, good on him.
That's pretty cool. I
Freaking
guess.
sweet.
That's different.
One other thing we wanted to mention real quick, Joe, you said that a couple of days ago they announced this, that Zavala's got a new voice in Destiny 2. It's going to be Keith. What's his name? Keith David is going to be replacing Lance Reddick's voice for Zavala. Whether we wanted to or not, we stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars. And I haven't touched Destiny in a very long time. Now, here's a question for you: Can you still use the Mida multi-tool, or is that a gun of the past?
Still use it. It's in there.
Yeah, it's still there. They made like a legacy version still.
Maybe 3 months. I'm just burnt out from it. Maybe when the new season starts next month, I'll give it another go. But I haven't played anything but Street Fighter and Tears of the Kingdom. So,
how has Street Fighter been?
It's the best Street Fighter of all time.
Really? So it's that good, huh?
Yeah.
I heard that they brought in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that it costs $60 to get all 4 turtles in Street Fighter.
Basically they're just like costumes for your avatar that you can use in like the single player mode or walking around like the hub world, and you can wear either one of the 4 turtle costumes. And yeah, they're $15 a pop, and the Street Fighter community is kind of up in arms with Capcom for that high price point. I didn't buy them. They gave us some free titles and some free swag and things like that. But the paywall content for the good stuff that has on the turtles is expensive. So I probably won't.
I would never pay $60 to play as the Ninja Turtles in a Street Fighter game.
You can
I
buy one
probably
for
would do
15.
that.
If you just want Leonardo, it's $15.
Yeah, but it's like that's kind of like highway robbery, especially that you're charging for 4 skins the same price as the fucking game.
Fortnite.
It's Capcom. Capcom's always been trash like that, though.
What did they have? Like Homelander and Call of Duty or something?
Yeah, I got Homelander and Black Noir. So
How much did that cost you?
I don't know, but I love Homelander. I'll pay for that.
Homelander's going to be in the new Mortal
Convert
Kombat.
money into coin, and then it's an obscure number. But yeah, it probably costs you $40 fucking bucks.
Yeah.
You know, Homelander and Omni-Man are both going to be in the new Mortal Kombat.
Interesting.
If you don't have to pay for them.
They're probably going to be the first DLC pack. Yeah, but typically they'll do a whole pack for the price that Street Fighter is charging for one skin. You get an entire fucking season of skins. You know what I mean? Oh. Like you may pay $15 for 4 characters in Mortal Kombat, whereas you're paying $15 for one outfit for a character, and that's not even really like Leonardo. It's just a costume to make your character look like Leonardo. So he's not going to have his own unique animations or any kind of shit, which is ridiculous. I think that's stupid.
I was wondering what their fighting style was. Is it like ripped off of somebody else, or is it like unique to them?
It's just an outfit for your avatar. That's it. So whoever
Who gives a fuck?
avatar is equipped, that's what they'll
Well,
do. But
whatever.
Gotcha,
We got a
I
couple
gotcha.
of things in the comments here. So Lil Joe said that the guy who's doing the replacing Lance Reddick was the guy who did the voice for the Arbiter in Halo.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. And then
he was also in They Live with Roddy Piper.
Oh yes.
Really?
He's in Men at Work with
Interesting.
fucking Charlie Sheen.
He's also Goliath's
Leslie.
voice on Gargoyles. Yep.
Jarrett Smith says, "What do you mean Rey Mysterio's been wrestling since 19?" He said 89. No, I don't think he's been going since 89. Maybe when he was a little kid. And then Little Joe said that he said he'll buy Sea of Thieves if we play it.
I'm down.
I don't think he
Yeah,
can
but you only play
it.
up to 4 players, so.
Game Pass.
Yeah, we tried to. Didn't we try to see if there was a way that we can get a bigger group? I'm sure there's maybe a way to do it. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it is.
You'd have to have a second ship. Is what
What
you'd
do you
really
mean? We
need
could have
to do.
4 players.
Mo, we got 4, but can you have?
If all 4
5?
of us
You
plus
can't-
Joe played, there's 5.
You can't do a group of 5 in Sea of Thieves. I don't think you could try to.
So if
queue
you
into
said
this
like
in-
2 brigs or something like that, you could probably get away with that. But
Hard to get in the same map, I believe. That was one
Yeah.
thing that I think me and
I
Chris
think-
tried.
that's something that's severely
Let's do
lacking. Like
some-
if
Either
they
way,
did
we'll
a
do some
Sea of
research
When the
Thieves
on
fuck
the
too,
can we all
topic.
play together anyway?
Yeah, let's do some Sea of Thieves.
Let's
Though.
get the game.
Friday.
Let's definitely do some Sea of Thieves. We should play that. We do regret that this episode is a fucking
Remote.
remote.
It's like remote work in COVID time.
Ugh.
We do regret that, but we are going to be back in
Zoom
person.
meetings.
We could. I mean, I don't fuck that. I think we could meet again. Meet next week in person, Joe. If you want to be remote for that, we could do that. But fucking, we gotta
Next
get-
week I plan on doing in
Fuck
person.
that.
Yeah, we'll be in person.
We're doing
for
in
that.
person
There's
next
just a
week.
better
That's it.
energy there. This shit's fucking Zoom meeting, fucking Google
Oh,
Meet.
Pokemania.
pisses me off. Anything else that we didn't cover that we wanted to? It's fucking Zoom meeting. We're gonna be in person. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be big.
So 2 weeks from this week, I'm going to be flying out to Texas for RGV Super Anime Fest. So that's going to be my next convention. After that, I think I just have New York Comic Con, and then that's it for my con year.
Can't wait.
I reached out to a con in Sacramento. We'll see if they get back to me. That'd be pretty cool because the Sacramento Comic Con's got a lot of legendary voice actors. I'd love to try to get in on some of that action, but we'll see. We'll see if they get back to me. But yeah, this has been a great episode. Happy birthday, Hulk Hogan! Happy birthday, Ian McDiarmid. We're gonna be back with you guys next Friday, repping the Hulkster. And yeah, we'll be back. Thank you so much for tuning in. All to the new viewers. I saw we had a few newbies. If you like the show, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell too, because it will let you know when we're going live. We shoot for Friday nights, typically between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Snoochie Boochies, and may the force be with you.